Welcome to Daddy and Pal's Amy Hart.
Hello,
Hi
thanks for
there.
having me. We
Absolutely.
finally got here.
I know, we've been planning this for weeks, haven't we?
We have.
So you're our episode 6 guest, so welcome. And I've got some questions for you. Nothing too difficult or stressful, Amy. It'll just be a nice chat, don't worry. So, firstly, for the benefit of people that might not know about you already, give us a little intro about yourself and who you are and what you do, like for a job and stuff, Amy.
Okay, so I used to be an air hostess for 9 years. I always have to get that in there because I love it. I used to be an air hostess for 9 years. Then I gave up my career for the noble profession of reality TV star and went on Love Island, and then subsequently Celebs Go Dating and X on the Beach. Still single, or X in the City. Sorry. I've been a panelist on Loose Women. I've written pieces for The Guardian. I'm sort of like not your what. Well, I don't think anyone's a stereotypical Love Islander anymore, but I think like what you would think like a sort of ex reality star does, I don't really do any of that. I'm theatre crazy. I'm a theatre producer now as well. So I do everything really. But the reason that we connected was because I have always wanted to be a mum, and I was looking for a new podcast to listen to, and I kept getting signs, and I mean actual signs that everywhere I went there was a sign for the You Can Adopt podcast.
Yeah.
So I binged it all in one day and then messaged you like, oh my god, I just had to story, it's amazing. But I've just frozen my eggs. So who knows how I will be a mum one day.
Oh well, we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. So yeah, we found each other via the podcast that I did with Debbie, who's Lydia's mum from Towie. So of course you've got that connection with her as well, which I'm sure probably kind of like made sort of little alarm bells go off. Oh, this is good. So and so you mentioned you were a air hostess, didn't you? An air stewardess?
Yeah.
Was that British Airways?
I say air hostess, but then other people say cabin crew. I think it's more politically correct to say cabin crew now. But then I always used to say there are cabin crew and there are air hostesses. You know which one you want to be.
Yeah. One of my best friends, Michelle, who's one of the mums from school, she's just recently left a job at British Airways. She was with them for about 20 years, I think.
Yeah.
And she just goes on and on about it. She absolutely loves to travel and that whole lifestyle and everything. But I guess for you, that was quite a good introduction into being quite a sort of public-facing person, wasn't it? Because you were always up there in front of people.
And also it really well prepared me for sort of post Love Island life, because I remember I used to see like all my friends from Love Island, they'd be like, oh, I'm so tired, I've hardly slept, it's late nights, early mornings, because I was so used to that. And also like not like passengers try and like trip you up, and journalists do the same, but like so nobody could trip me up because I like know how to get around experience. That. Yeah.
So let's just chat about what you've been up to recently, right, Amy? Because as you mentioned, you're doing all these different jobs. You're really busy. You've just moved house, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. So let's start with your like social media career, because of course you're a big, I was going to say reality TV. You're a big influential Instagrammer now. With 1 million followers.
Yeah, or I was. For some reason, the algorithm hates me at the moment, and I don't know why. But we'll see. Hopefully,
you know what? The algorithm for Instagram, even for people with an influencer account our size, is a baffling mess. Like none of us really know how to serve it properly or how it works. So it just always feels a little bit like you're sort of swimming against the tide.
I think as well, I sort of compare myself to everyone else and their engagement, but I forget that like if it's a fitness account, everyone on that page has followed it because they're interested in fitness. So they post fitness stuff, they're going to get amazing engagement. Whereas with mine, people followed it because they liked me on Love Island. So some things will get more likes than others, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like I mean, I guess with us, we're just all full on 2 dads, 2 kids, parenting.
Yeah.
You know, that's why people visit us. With you, you know, because you're doing so many different things all the time, I guess you've got to find your like
jack of all trades and all that.
You need to find your niche.
Master of none.
That people engage with. You know, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've also got a fashion range that you've recently been working on.
Yes, I have. That's very exciting.
Lovely.
That's doing well. Yeah. Just wanted clothes, because I think a lot of people find that, you know, it's all crop tops and mini skirts and stuff. So people want like some nicer, like sort of clothes that anyone can wear.
Yeah, and also I guess you've got an opportunity now with beer gardens and terraces and new
Yeah,
opening. People are actually looking finally to buy something nice to wear to go out
yeah.
in, you
I
know.
mean, I'm the most coldest person in the world. So I literally, when I used to live with mum and dad's, like the heating, I'd put it on constant all the time. I don't know how to work the heating in my house. I'm literally hating my new house.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
but um, but yeah, so going to a beer garden doesn't really interest me, but I know it interests a lot of people.
I mean, I love them. So for me, particularly when it's hot and sunny, I mean, I wouldn't go there and
Oh,
brave
yeah,
it.
yeah, when it's warm, like on
Yeah.
holiday, I'm happy to sit outside. When it's like April, people are like, "Oh, should we sit outside?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
It's 12 degrees. It's sunny, but it's 12 degrees.
Yes, I know. So you're also, you've been on the panel, haven't you, on Loose Women?
Yeah.
I've caught a couple of those. So how did you get into all that then? Have you got an agent that looks after all your various different
Yeah.
places that you work?
So Looseman was more that I went on as a guest, and then then they liked me, so I went back as a panelist. I went back to do like a little thing with Colleen. I've been on again a couple of times as a guest. So yeah, I think I have a really good relationship with Looseman, so I love it.
I know a couple of other people that have worked on Loose Women, and everybody sort of raves about the atmosphere and how lovely everyone is.
Yeah.
It just really feels like a little family that you're all sort of chilled with.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about fertility and your journey, because and we've had small chats about this, haven't we? But we haven't really explored it in huge detail because it's very personal to you.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the beginning. So you have frozen some eggs, haven't you?
Yes, I
For
have.
future use.
I've got 5. I don't know where I'm going to go. I might go again and try and get another 5. So I've just got 10 in the freezer. But yeah, I've always wanted to be a mum, and my mum has always been very, please don't let not meeting the right guy stop you from having kids, because having kids is the best thing ever, obviously, me. So yeah, so you could, like, don't ever let that stop you having children. So we talked about egg freezing. I did, because my family have all had early menopause. I've done that, and then I mean, but I would like to have my own children naturally, but I also am very, very passionate about, and you know this, about adoption. That's why I like love your family. And there's like families that I follow in America that have got like 16 kids, like 9 adopted and 7 biological.
Oh, those sort of families are just inspirational. We were talking to somebody earlier on Twitter who's got 10 disabled kids she's adopted.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I must hook you up actually so you can chat to her.
Yeah. But yes, I've always said, and like I've sort of started talking to a guy recently, and like sort of he's like, "Oh, so do you want kids then?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want 50% adopted, so that's 1 and 1 or 2 and 2. Like I definitely want like a nice mix of like, because I think adoption's amazing, and just like seeing like how happy you guys are, and I know it's not always perfect, and people say, "Oh, there are like," but
I guess the really good thing about adoption is that it's 100% about the children. So whereas Love Birth Children is about you wanting to start a family and your vision for the future, adopting is much more about basically rescuing children that need parents, that don't have them. And for us at the very beginning, we sort of headed into adoption a little bit selfishly, really, just kind of Tom and I, it was time for us to start a family. And it wasn't until a little bit further down the process that we realized just the enormity of what we were doing for these children, which is why we decided to adopt 2. But I absolutely love the idea that you've already planned, or you've already got this idea in your head that you'd like to have birth children and adopted kids, because just would provide such a lovely mix, I think, as a family as well.
The family that I follow in America, I've got 16 kids, where the eldest is 24 and the youngest is 2. And obviously there's like 9 adopted and 7 biological in the middle. Like the younger ones, a lot of the time they don't know which ones of the older ones are adopted, because they all just treat everyone the same. And like the sibling group of 6, 4 of them are like white, blonde and blue eyes, like all the biological kids are. So they're like, when we tell people that we're adopted, people are like, "No, you look too much like your mum." She's like, "No, I know we look like our mum, but she's not actually our mum."
But you know, so many people say that about me and my youngest Richard, that they're like, oh my God, you're like twinnies. And in the early days, you know, that was a real confidence booster and quite magical for me. Because I just always had this kind of imposter syndrome, you know, about being a dad, because it just suddenly happened overnight, really.
Yeah.
Then to hear from people that you're doing a really good job and they can see your characteristics in your kids and stuff is just so wonderful.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, Joe Biden, the President of the United States. I'm totally obsessed with him and his wife and their family. And obviously she's not the older two sons' biological mum, because their mum died. And she was saying in her book that, like, when people would say, because one of the boys had like bright blonde hair and blue eyes like she did, so when someone would say like, oh, you look so much like your mum, so we'd like smile at each other like, yeah, like we are, like, even though we're like, yeah.
So let's think about, I mean, you mentioned obviously you're the child in your family, you're the daughter, but let's talk a little bit about your experience as like an auntie, or like a sort of or what would I call it, honorary auntie to your friend.
Oh no, I am auntie. I'm Auntie Ames. It's so funny. So when this bit's not funny. So my godson, when he was born, was in Southampton hospital for 3 months.
Right.
I think about 9 weeks, I think, because he was so poorly when he was born. So his older brother, who was 4 at the time, who me and him have been the absolute best of friends since he was born, Auntie Ames, and I'm like, who is your best auntie? And he's like, Auntie Ames. And he, like, when we were going through the hospital, he's going to the nurses, this is my Auntie Ames. She's the craziest of all my aunties. And then, so that was in, you know, so in the following year, when I went into Love Island, they were back in hospital for an operation.
Right.
And so Warwick used to like run out and talk to the nurses. He's like 5, 6 at this point. So he'd like run out and talk to the nurses. And then one of the nurses one day went into Nikki and was like, so Warwick was telling me that his Auntie Ames is on Love Island. Is that Amy from Love Island? And she was like, yeah. And it's so funny, like all the kids know their bread's buttered. Like my like little niece, like honorary niece, I just came up Love Island when she started school, and they had to do a book about themselves and picture them and their family in there. Like, she's got so many aunties and uncles, and she's like, Mummy, I want a picture of me and Auntie Ames on the front. I'm like, yeah, all right, we get it. Like, you know.
Oh, it's nice though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I am like I said to Mum the other day, what I might do is go out and buy loads of like little toys and sweets and stuff and wrap them all up, and then when the boys come round and when Marnie comes round, they can pick a prize before they go home. And my mum was like, absolutely not. Number one, Nikki and Leslie do not need more tat in their house. Like, kids bring so much rubbish with them. And number two, they will always expect it. And I was like, yeah, okay. But yeah, I love being an auntie.
That would definitely, Amy, set a really dangerous precedence, because basically every time they came round now, I mean, when Tom used to work in LA, he'd come home and bring a load of America goodies back with him. Yeah. And it was only until like lockdown started last year, so quite recent, and it became so habitual that the kids would be like, oh my God, Dad's coming home, but they weren't really excited because he was coming home. They were excited because they might like an America teddy bear and baseball.
Get some Lucky Charms. But yeah, I love being an auntie, and I'm very good at it as well.
Great.
But yeah, I think as well, like, because in our family, so my mum and dad are part of a really big group of friends who they all had their children later. So like, we were the only kids in the friendship group for a long time. So they were all our aunties and uncles. Like, you know, we have a bit of an open door policy. We're like a very encompassing family. So marvelous. Like, all my friends call my Auntie Jane. All my friends call my nan Nanny. Like, so, you know, I'm everyone's auntie.
That's so lovely, Amy. Hey, this has been so wonderful. Thanks so much for chatting to me.
Thank you.
I know we'll be in touch again soon. I want you to come on the blog actually shortly with a guest post. That'd be really fantastic.
Yes, we'll do.
Big love. And
thank you.
Soon. Bye.
Bye.